Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my morning briefing this morning from Ho Chi Minh City. Once again, we had a fairly quiet day in the markets with the Dow Jones down just 0.3%. The Nasdaq was down 0.8%. The FTSE pretty much flat level, down less than 0.1%. We did have a little bit of movement in China. The Chinese markets had their worst day for 5 weeks. The Shanghai index fell by over 3%, 3.2%, and this was mirrored in the Thai markets, which fell by just under 3%, 2.8%. The Nikkei, though, however, in Japan was up, so there is some promising signs coming out of somewhere. As far as the currencies goes, again, not a great deal of movement. They haven't changed a great deal since yesterday. Right now, we've got the US dollar and the euro at 113. Sterling 154, the dollar Japanese yen is 119, the Chinese renminbi is 635, the Thai baht is 35.50, and the Vietnamese dong, for those of us that are interested over here, is 22,302. Though, as we all know, we can probably get a better rate than that in some of the gold shops or whatever you're out there. So basically, fairly quiet in the market front, with the exception of China. You know, we do have, although I've never been directly exposed to China, obviously some of the larger consumer staple companies which I like and which I put clients into, will have suffered from this China slowdown. A lot of companies have large Chinese exposure. But, the place is still growing and it's still a core theme which I believe in consumer staples. I believe that, as time goes on, as more people in developing worlds have access to the same products that us in the more developed worlds have, then, the likelihood is they're gonna buy those products as well. So, your large multinationals like Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, yeah, their figures haven't looked too pretty of late, but again, you have those in your portfolio, whether it's direct exposure or through a fund of some sorts, and we're playing the long game, like I always like to do. Then I don't think you're going to go too far wrong. Another thing I just wanted to touch on briefly is pensions. Obviously, here at Offshore Investment Brokers, we can offer a wide range of pension options. And I read something the other day that the average annuity provider in the UK bases the annuity that they're going to pay out to a 65-year-old man on him living until the age of 90. When the reality of it is that the average age at which a 65-year-old man who retires will die at is 82. So basically, once again, they're just creaming off the top, and there's a lot of ways you can, you can negate this by moving into an option such as a SIP, which I can explain more about if you get the chance to sit down and have a chat about these things. So it really is something which you need to keep an eye on. Another thing is the sporting front today. I mean, on the sporting fronts, we didn't have a great deal last night, although the two Manchester teams in the Champions League managed to hold their own. It looks like there's a possibility that we might get all 4 Premiership sides going through to the next round, which obviously will be nice. I think City are starting to find their feet there, eventually after the 3rd season, I think. So hopefully they're learning the processes a bit. And of course, Van Gaal's got plenty of European experience for United. So it'd be nice to see 4 Premiership sides into the next round of the Champions League. I think it's been a few years since that's happened. It's not definite yet. Things can still go wrong, but all being well, based on what we've seen so far, hopefully that will happen. Finally, I want to give you a quote for the day. A little snippet just to go away and think about. And this one I'm taking from a guy called Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Antoine was a famous poet and aviator from France. born in the beginning of the 20th century. And one of his quotes was, "A goal without a plan is just a wish." So just think about that for a minute. Wishful thinking doesn't really get anyone anywhere. Come and get a plan. Come and see us, Offshore Investment Brokers, oibinternational.com, or I'm easy to find. Get online. Thanks. Have a nice day.